for the lead.
So what is the secret to being a great shooter? A lot of great shooters have had terrible shooting form. However, there is one common factor among all great shooters. All great shooters have shot the basketball millions of times. Today, we are going to look at 3 ways to increase your shooting percentage. First, you need to shoot the basketball a lot. Second, you need to practice like it's game time. And finally, you should solidify your shooting form. You will never be a great shooter unless you shoot the basketball thousands or even millions of times. I am currently doing the 24-minute shooting drill, which is one of the best ways to get a large volume of shots in. The 24-minute shooting drill uses 8 different stations, where at each station you alternate from left to right. Each station lasts for 3 minutes, and in order to maximize the effectiveness of this drill, you should run after your rebounds. The first station is layups. After 3 minutes, you start shooting from the block. The third station is short baseline shots. After 3 minutes, move out several more feet from the basket. Next, work on medium-range bank shots from the corner of the volleyball court. For the next 3 minutes, work on any post move or hook shot close to the basket. The 7th station is from the elbow.
Finally, you should shoot maximum range shots up to the 3-point line.
So to recap, the 24-minute shooting drill starts with layups, then moves to shots from the block, then short baseline shots, then medium range baseline shots, then medium range bank shots, post moves, elbow shots, and ends with 3-pointers. If you work hard at the 24-minute shooting drill, you will shoot around 300 or 400 shots in the 24 minutes. If you do this drill once a week, you will shoot around 20,000 shots a year. This is the drill that I used to develop my shot when I was in junior high, and it only took 1 year of doing this drill once or twice a week for me to go from a layup-only player to a consistent 3-point shooter. Whenever you are shooting the basketball, there are several important factors to keep in mind to maximize your improvement. First, you should never shoot long-range shots before you have had time to warm up. Additionally, you should always be moving into the shot so that you are shooting in rhythm. Finally, you should mix up your training. Sometimes you should shoot in the gym, and sometimes you should shoot outside on a blacktop. Sometimes use a really nice indoor basketball, and sometimes use that awful, slippery, beat-up 20-year-old outdoor basketball. Sometimes shoot your threes a few feet further out than the 3-point line, and sometimes step in a few feet. By diversifying your training, you will be better prepared to handle the many unique situations in games. The drill I am doing is a simple yet highly effective way to work on both your outside and inside game. All you do in this drill is shoot a 3, get the rebound, make a layup, and then shoot another 3. This drill forces you to shoot while you are running, and if you do it for a few minutes when you are tired as well. It will also help you learn to finish at the rim and make layups from weird angles. Additionally, this drill is great for learning how to follow your shot and get easy rebounds.
For a quick disclaimer on different schools of thought on shooting form, please pause the video and read this slide. Earlier in this video, I said that the most important part of becoming a great shooter was not having good form, but getting in a large number of shots. However, there are several very good reasons why you should fix your shooting form, in addition to putting up a large volume of shots. First, good shooting form will significantly increase your shooting range. Almost all junior hires have more than enough strength to shoot three-pointers if they properly use their legs to power their shot. Additionally, using good form will increase both the speed of your release as well as the height of the release of your shot, making it much more difficult to block. Finally, having good form will significantly improve your rate of improvement, so that a player with good form will see a similar amount of improvement over 10,000 shots as a player with bad form will see over 40,000 shots. Thus, while fixing your shooting form is no replacement for putting in a large volume of shots, if done in conjunction with shooting a lot, you can have mind-blowing improvements in your shooting percentage. You will never fix your shooting form unless you decide to put in the effort and focus necessary to overcome muscle memory. If you have bad form, it will take a considerable amount of time to correct it. When you start to fix your form, it is important to not get overwhelmed with trying to fix everything. In this video, I will go over aspects of shooting form in order of importance. So tackle the most important parts first, and then when you get that down, add another aspect of good shooting form until you get through all the different aspects of good shooting form. Old habits die hard. It will take a long time of focusing on your shooting form to correct your bad habits. You will also tend to see regressions, especially when you are put in high-stress situations, such as in games. Don't give up when this happens. Instead, keep working on your shooting form, as it will correct over time. It is usually best to work on your shooting form during the off-season, as you will often see a temporary dip in your shooting percentage, especially if you have been shooting with improper form for a long time. When you decide to correct your shooting form, you need to be very cognizant of your form every time you shoot. Every time you pick up the basketball, you should mentally run through the important aspects of shooting form and think about them and analyze each shot you take in your head. Additionally, one of the best ways I have found to work on my form is either by shooting free throws or by doing what I call the shooting form drill, where you start close to the basket and move in an arc, taking shots every few feet around the basket. Focus on good form, and every time you make 5 shots in a row, take a couple steps back. In order of importance, we are going to look at 3 different aspects of shooting form. The most important part of shooting is the legs, then the shot release, and finally the transition from catching the ball to the shot release. Remember, it's the legs that feed the wolf. When you are shooting, it is critical that you jump, that you have a correct stance, that you shoot in rhythm, and that you use your legs as your main power source. While shooting is not a vertical jump competition, you should jump at least 50% of your maximum. In this image, you can see that my feet are well off the ground at the peak of my jump. Another common mistake is to wait until you are falling back down to release the ball. If you watch this video closely, you can see that I'm still moving up as I release the ball right before the peak of my jump. As always in basketball, you should be in an athletic stance when you shoot. In this image, you can see that my feet are shoulder width apart, my feet and shoulders are pointed straight at the basket, my knees are bent, my back is straight, and my right foot is slightly in front of my left foot. In order to fully harness the power of your legs, you should be moving into the shot. In these series of images, you can see that I start to move forward when the ball is in the air, and by the time I catch it, I'm in the shooting stance. In the video, you can see how the seamless transition from stepping into the shot to release allows me to transmit a large portion of my forward energy into my shot. This is why guys like Stephen Curry seem to have unlimited range despite being so skinny. The second most important part of shooting form is the release. We are going to focus on snapping the wrist and elbow, shooting not chucking the basketball, having a high release, and only shooting with one hand. When shooting, both the wrist and elbow should be snapped at the same time. This motion should be performed very quickly, as you can see in the video with how quickly my arm and wrist are moving, even when slowed down to less than 1% of their original speed. One huge mistake that younger players tend to make is that they push the basketball with their shoulders and arms. This is not the shot put. As you can see in these side-by-side images, my shoulders didn't move at all during the shot, and that I am quickly snapping my arm and wrist rather than trying to push the basketball. If you are doing anything other than flicking your wrist and elbow, it will significantly hurt your accuracy and consistency. It is important to have a high release and finish on your shot. My coach used to tell me to think of it like a little kid reaching up to the counter and sticking their hand in the cookie jar. In this image, you can see my hand finishing the shot high above my head, just like I am sticking it into a cookie jar. While it is commonly known that you should only shoot with one hand, there is a lot of confusion on how exactly that is supposed to happen. There are really two parts to this. First, the guide hand should contact the ball perpendicular to the shooting hand. Second, the moment the shooting hand begins to flick both the elbow and the wrist, the guide hand should stop and not move, as you can see my hand doing in this slow motion video. Final part of shooting form that we will go over is the transition phase, or the period of time between when you catch the ball and when you begin the release period. We will focus on four things: the shot pocket, raising the ball to your forehead, how to enter the release phase, and having a smooth motion through your shot. You should always shoot out of a triple threat position. Basically, triple threat is where you are facing the basket in a good shooting stance with the basketball at your waist on the right side of your body. From this position, you can easily shoot, pass, or dribble, hence the name triple threat. In the second image, you can see how you should step into the triple threat position. When shooting, you should raise the basketball from the triple threat position so that your tricep forms a 90-degree angle with your body, and your forearm makes a 90-degree angle with your bicep, and your wrist makes a 90-degree angle with your forearm. Once you have raised the basketball to your forehead, you already should be starting to jump and should be entering the release phase. A lot of guys have an unnecessary pause between raising the ball up to releasing it, which significantly reduces power and waste time. So unless you are 6'10 and completely ripped, LeBron James, you should make a seamless transition between raising the ball to your forehead and starting the release stage. Additionally, having a quick release is important. However, that doesn't mean your shot should be jerky. Having slower but smooth flowing motions will give you a much faster shot than trying to hastily move in an isolated part of your shot. Focus on getting your shot smooth before you worry about speed, and you will find that your shot release will be both quick and consistent. When shooting, the ball should rest on your fingers, not your palm. When you release the ball, it should roll off your pointer and index fingers, which will give the ball some backspin. You need to shoot with confidence and shoot to make the shot. You should aim right at the back of the rim. Focus your eyes right on where you want your shot to go instead of just generally looking at the basket. Finally, your shot should be exactly the same whether you are playing horse in practice, wide open in a game, or getting jumped at by a defender. Your in-game accuracy will be much greater if you shoot exactly the same way every time. In conclusion, when it comes to shooting form, focus on channeling the power of your legs, having a smooth and consistent form, a strong one-handed release, and remember, fixing your form takes a lot of hard work and patience, so get into the gym.